Well, Manchester City taking on Crystal Palace, which you're going to look at the both teams here and you think, oh, well, this is an easy win for City. But history has not been kind to City in this tie.
No, it hasn't. Crystal Palace are playing very well as well this season. Look at the performance they put on at Liverpool. I think Wilf Zaha has moved on another level. His finishing is getting better and better. Palace have won at City a couple of times, including last season. Remember that goal Andros Townsend scored there a few seasons ago? I don't think anyone will ever forget that. They won 2-0 there last year. They kept a clean sheet against City at Selhurst Park last season. So I think they're capable. I'm not saying they're definitely going to get something out of the game, but I think they're capable of giving Manchester City a bit of a run for their money, particularly as Newcastle, quite interestingly last week, went bold against City. Most teams sort of sit back rather frightened of them, damage limitation. I wonder if teams are starting to think, I'll tell you what, let's go for it a little bit and see what they're like if we can get them onto the back foot, as Newcastle did last week. So I'm interested to see how Palace do go about it.
Ian coming out and saying they're definitely going to get something, Palace, from this tie. Do you agree?
I think how they did last year was, it was very good with the win and with the draw. Finding a way to stop City from scoring is very impressive. But I think on this particular occasion, Palace have started well and can see the strengths that they have. I think last week against Villa, they looked very good. They went a goal down, but the reaction was almost instant, and then they basically controlled the game from there. And I think there were certain parts of that Liverpool game where I thought they looked really good, but to then bring it back to sort of like a more thoughtful manner. In that Liverpool game, I thought the worst they played was when Liverpool went down to 10 men. And I think that kind of shows that for as good as they are, they're not quite there yet in terms of being able to fully command games against some of the best sides. And I think playing against City here, the fact that it's at the Etihad is going to be the difference, in my opinion, between how they approach it compared to how Newcastle approach it, playing City on the front foot with 50, 60,000 fans begging them to do so and celebrating every positive moment that they have. I think they'll be defensively solid, and you've got outballs to Zaha, Eze, dribblers like that, Ayew as well, and Schlupp running with the ball, so they will be dangerous from that standpoint. But I think for City, all they have to do is look back at what happened last season and know that they have to do better. They have to sort of minimise those mistakes, but make sure that they're very much aware of sort of the attacking threat that Palace will have on the break. So I see City winning it, but it would be very interesting in this game if Palace did take a lead, because for them, they can continue playing in the same style, whereas for City, maybe that sense of urgency would have to sort of get ramped up a little bit, which maybe might play into Palace's hands.
I don't think there's a cat and hell's chance that Crystal Palace will try and come out and have a go at Man City. Right. I think Man City would love that. I mean, I know Newcastle got their dander up a little bit, and people would, and it did look as if City were flustered. And I don't think it was down to Newcastle per se, but I think it's one of the worst one of the worst 20-minute periods of passing the ball I think I've seen from City in a long time. And it wasn't all down to Newcastle pressing. It was, I saw Rodri and Walker and Stones and others with 5 and 10 yards on the ball and just dilly-dallying on it. And it just seemed to me that they needed a huge rocket up their backside. So I don't think we'll see that City again. We'll rarely see them as sloppy as we did in periods in that Newcastle game. And then we saw the other side of them, the brilliance. But I think Palace will be coy, and they'll look for that bit of pace and power up front, a bit like Palace did against Liverpool. But if they do try and open up, I think ultimately it'll be cannon fodder for Man City if that happens. And I think that's why there's no chance of City trying to have a pop at them. I think they'll be very cute in the way cute in the way they approach the game.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.